So it was very irresponsible on the part of the president. We'll go again. We'll go another time. This would have been my 9th trip.
Do you view this as retaliation for your letter about the State of the Union?
I would hope not. I don't think the president would be that petty, do you?
When Speaker Nancy Pelosi canceled President Donald Trump's State of the Union address, he responded by grounding her taxpayer-funded luxury flight overseas. However, Pelosi soon discovered that if she hits, Trump will hit back even harder once he had a special gift delivered to her office. Just hours after ordering her overseas excursion canceled, President Trump added insult to injury by having Pelosi's luggage loaded onto a military liaison cart, and had it wheeled down the halls of Congress and humiliatingly parked outside of her office for her to collect. A photo of the carelessly piled luggage with a sign marked "Cuddle Pelosi" was snapped by a tipster for the Washington Free Beacon. Similar to Trump's strategic grounding of Pelosi's flight just 1 hour before takeoff, leaving the confused Congresswoman stalled on a United States Air Force bus, the president had her baggage redirected to her office in case she wished to check it in with a commercial airline. It's unclear if all of the bags were Pelosi's or if the card also included luggage belonging to her staffers. However, the message was unmistakable, leaving the speaker in an embarrassing position. Pelosi is probably waking up to the fact that if you hit Trump, you'd better knock him out because he'll come back swinging twice as hard. It's possible she realized that she made a mistake by pushing to cancel the SOTU address when Trump responded by postponing her flight for the same reason she gave. Pelosi and her Democratic cohorts are starting to realize that Trump not only means business but that he isn't intimidated by their underhanded and puerile tactics. In fact, one of the reasons he was elected president is because he has no problem getting down in the mud and fighting just as dirty as the leftist opposition. If Pelosi wants to use the government shutdown for her own political gain, she'll soon realize that this is Trump's game and he has the advantage when it comes to playing hardball.
President Trump continuing to counterpunch Nancy Pelosi with a new Twitter taunt as the shutdown fight gets personal. After grounding her military aircraft yesterday, the president slamming the House Speaker for planning to go on an overseas trip during the government shutdown. And Pelosi's office is responding by accusing the White House of leaking information about plans to fly commercial, claiming it created a security risk that caused the trip to be stopped. The White House is pushing back, though, calling the charge, quote, asinine and a flat-out lie. Here's Pelosi earlier.
So it was very irresponsible on the part of the president. We'll go again. We'll go another time. This would have been my 9th trip.
Do you view this as retaliation for your letter about the State of the Union?
I would hope not. I don't think the president would be that petty, do you?
Sarah Sanders firing back at Pelosi over the allegations, saying it's outrageous to claim the president would put lives in jeopardy. Meanwhile, it's a tale of two shutdown stunts for the media. Watch as Pelosi gets praised for trying to delay the State of the Union, while Trump gets trashed for axing her foreign trip. This is a case study in media bias, Dana.
It's a pretty good example. It is a pretty good example. And when he was quiet for the day, remember, and she got all of that press for a whole day, and the timing of the letter that your trip is canceled, coming a half an hour before they're to leave while they're on the bus, that was gold.
Perfectly executed.
Like really gold. And so, I mean, I remember I did my sister test,
right,
and she was like, oh, both of them, Trump, Pelosi, tired of it. That might be how a lot of people feel, but the media can't do that. I mean, come on. And then also when Pelosi says, oh, I don't think he would be that petty. It's like in the South when you say bless their heart.
That's right.
A little bit like that.
Bless your heart, Greg.
Yeah, I think it could have been Trump. It could have been worse. I mean, Trump canceling the trip is nice. Imagine if he had allowed them to get on the plane and then he waited until they were in the air and then rerouted it so it flew in circles around the U.S. for like 11 hours. I don't know how long the trip is. But imagine if he let him fly in the air for 11 hours, right? And then he goes, okay, let him land in D.C. And then they come back, they land in D.C., they're all tired, the Ambien's wearing off, they had a few drinks, they get out and like Nancy's like, wow, I didn't know Brussels had a White House. This is amazing. So I think that he actually did them a favor. Jim Acosta, calling anyone childlike, he's basically the spokesperson for Gerber baby food. I think the whole idea of calling each other childish doesn't work anymore. No. It doesn't work because everybody is a child now. We're allowed. We live in a time where it's tit for tat, so that's okay. There's a really positive thing that's going to happen. I've said it yesterday. Nancy handed him the golden key. Get out of the State of the Union. It's boring. Think of it as State of the Union unplugged. Go back to its roots.
Acoustic.
Acoustic. An acoustic State of the Union, the People's State of the Union. You send a letter, then you have a rally. Everybody wins, and we stay here in New York. We don't have to take the train and sit on the Acela and listen to that bubble of bourgeois. I don't even know what I said.
It's all about travel anxiety.
I don't want to go anywhere.
All right, this is one. This is Newt Gingrich talking about picking a fight with the president, and then you can react.
I don't know anybody who is more predictable at counterpunching. You hit Donald Trump, he picks up a large log, slams you across the head, and says, see, you made me irritated. I mean, she handed him a huge softball and said, please knock it out of the park. I guarantee you he's going to spend part of every day from here on out finding a way to cause her pain.
So the president's plotting in the Oval Office. How else can I cause Pelosi pain?
I think that's the lights you better look on your face, Jesse. But I think he's causing himself a great deal of pain. I mean, I was just looking at the polls today, and it's pretty clear. All the polls indicate that majorities blame the president for what's going on, and people don't like the idea of shutdown, don't think it's a good idea to shut down the government as a leverage point over building the wall that we know Mexico was going to pay for. And, you know, to me, they think, you know, we should get a deal. We should be able to reach a deal. So, you know, to Dana's sister's point, it'd be nice if people sat down and really thought about this and really were able to negotiate.
Do you think
but no, let me finish. But here you have a situation where you had Republicans and Democrats make a deal. McConnell said, here's a deal. It was the president who shut down the government. So now you have Vice President Pence, Jared Kushner meeting with Mitch McConnell. They're trying to figure out some way to help the president save face, because that's all this is about. And when he does something, and I think that Pelosi was very clear, and I think the State Department, you know, when they had to say, you know, you can't go, it's very clear. He did talk about the commercial itinerary in a way that would have endangered her life and the life of everyone on there. But guess what? In the conservative media bubble, you get the kind of playground tit for tat. Oh, Adam Schiff was on. Remember Adam Schiff, the one that the president misspells his name with the T's. It's unbelievable that we are at this juvenile level. But I think the American people from the polls say enough of this playground behavior. It's not good. It's not good governance, and it's not who we are.
Well, to that one, I would say Nancy started it. How's that for playground?
Yes.
Dr. Nicole Sapphire, Juan says right now the polls indicate that everybody blames the president for the shutdown. If the president were to cut a deal, get the wall, and reopen the government, would the American people give him credit for ending the shutdown, and his base would be very ecstatic about the wall funding?
Yes.
Well, of course, his base would be very happy, but I'm sure that the other side, who never supports him, would come up with something else, and he would not get credit for that.
But there's more of an upside for the president here.
Right, I do agree. I think that they really need to hone in. You know, he has compromised. He's compromised on the cost of the border wall. He's gone from $21 billion down to $5.7. He's compromised on DACA. I mean, these are things that happen with his campaign. You know, he's doing what he said in his campaign. He lowered corporate tax. He bombed ISIS. He's bringing the troops home. He has to do the wall. He has to do something here. If he foregoes the wall, he's going to lose his base. And the Republicans are really going to suffer from this. Now, this tit for tat, and it really is nanny, nanny, boo-boo, but it's on both sides. And it just is. I mean, Pelosi's in Hawaii. She comes back, and she says she's going to pull the reins on the SOTU, which, okay. And then he cancels her trip. I mean, it is a back and forth. I want to see them back in the White House, get some of their cronies, get in the Oval Office, lock themselves in, and hash out a deal. Like, there's no, okay, let's shake hands and let's move on with the day. No, you stay in that office until you figured it out, because you have 800,000 people not getting paid. And when you're praising the unemployment rate, how it keeps going down, but now all of a sudden we have employed individuals not getting paid. They're needing GoFundMe accounts. They're having to file for unemployment. This isn't right.
So,
this is
Doc,
wrong.
you know, I just want to point out that you just said this is all about the president's wanting to make a political point. It's not about border security.
This is what he got elected to do by the American people, whether you agree with it or not.
No.
He got elected saying he was doing a wall.
You're wrong. He got elected saying Mexico would pay for this wall. No, we're not near that. And so you have him.
Well, a lot of people believe that the new NAFTA deal gets Mexico to pay for it. But
here's the thing. No, let me finish this point.
In here
this is important. You have now Gary Cohn, the president's economic advisor.
I thought this was friction-free Friday.
Okay, so let me
talk.
say this.
We always
you
cut
have
him
the
off.
Federal Reserve Bank chair here in New York saying what's going on right now is slowing U.S. economic growth. The president lets Mrs. Trump fly last night. You won't let Pelosi fly. And
Melania's not negotiating.
Oh, my God.
Melania is not
I
negotiating.
thought the principle was in the letter.
in the Oval Office. We don't need her.
Yeah,
She can go.
we don't need her. But the principle in the letter was
let's get everybody else.
It would be interesting to see an actual specific plan by the Democrats, because now we have them on record saying that they're for enhanced border security. They actually say it now, even though their leader said it was immoral. Remember, walls were immoral, and now you have them backtracking and say, "But wait a minute, it's moral." So what I would like to, would be really neat to see a plan that actually shows a border without a wall. I would like to see that, because the thing is, if you want a deal, you're going to have to create money for enhanced border, right? That's what it'd be. So the Democrats have to come up with a specific deal, right, with this money that doesn't have any wall. I would like to see that. Do you think that's possible? I would like to. No. One, you believe that you could do it without a wall? Yeah. Then you should write it down right now. I want to see you draw it out.
I don't think this is so hard.
Well,
it's impossible.
Jesse was making fun of me yesterday for going through the steps. You know, the added funding in terms of security personnel, the drones,
but no wall.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Have a line in the sand?
It's not even
because it's all the parts of it that have walls.
Your favorite radio host Howard Stern said, "Doesn't work."
Where did you hear that?
From you.
There you go.
At least we know Ron's listening to us.
Yeah.
All right, only when he wants to hear what he wants.